I just finished the dishes. It's been 100 miles an hour. It's just like working from that busy cafe that I used to work. You remember when I used to come here at like 1 p.m., set up my station, take the dog out for a walk?
When you were the man of leisure?
I am, yeah. I miss those days.
Well, no, those days are over. Your days as man of leisure are over. Now you're at the sweatshop. The well-seasoned sweatshop.
Right. You know, every once in a while, it's happened. But it was a good day. It was a busy day.
It's been a busy week.
Yeah, and I showed up on Monday. There was one pack of food left. By the way, thank you for your support. We love you to death. And thanks for clearing the freezers. I get to just fill them up again just for you so you can just cook the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be the same thing tomorrow.
We had such a busy weekend here last week. I don't know where everybody came from, but I think people thought it was the apocalypse and they were stocking up their freezers at home because our freezers here got completely decimated.
And enjoy the food, by the way. We really do appreciate your support. It's awesome.
We do. It's really great.
And however, I have to just like fill up everything. But it's full now.
Yeah.
And grab your
Come on
food.
down. Come on,
Come on. Grab your pimento cheese, grab your Mediterranean feta that you do not want to entertain laying on a Super Bowl weekend.
Well, you can't entertain first of all, so you can entertain yourself.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
you
I'm not talk about just
Yeah.
Sorry, I just got blanked out.
You can entertain
I thought that
yourself.
was someone else. Someone good.
So yeah, the baba ganoush, just I'm afraid you haven't had this guy's baba ganoush Deniz here. It's amazing.
Hey man, like the eggplant is, I can make jam with eggplant. Eggplant is my national vegetable. My original national vegetable. But yeah, come and grab a tub of baba and dip away.
Taco baba. We've been eating it in my house. It's so good. Anyhow, so welcome to Thursday Night Live. It's 5:45, and we're in Well-Seasoned Kitchen. And tonight we are making Chioppino.
Tonight we're making fast food. I call this a fast food.
Fast food.
Fast food because it happens really fast. And I'm going to show you how to make the base. When you make this base, make 5 liters of it. 1 liter, you eat it that night. 4 liters goes into the freezer for future use. It freezes exceptionally well, just so you know. So that when you have 4 liters in your stash, you just pull one, right? You want to work in the morning, you just pull 1 liter on the counter. On the way back, grab a little bread, some fresh shellfish, or fish and shellfish, well, that's with it. And great Pacific. This is one of the best. And then on the way back, grab a bottle of wine, baguette, and a fresh shellfish from Heather. Get you a little lengthy. And then I'll show you how easy this is to cook. And you will have nutritious and delicious food in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
Just minutes, really. I mean, fish doesn't take a whole lot to cook. This, whatever you think it takes to cook, just divide it by 4 and just cook your fish that long. There's nothing more sad than a beautiful, great Pacific Northwest fish that's been seized up. And it's, yeah, we have such an incredible thing, but people still haven't eaten canned tuna.
I like canned tuna. It's so good.
I don't mind it at all too, but we have all the core tuna, right? Just swimming on the Tricorn Mountain channel here. I mean, you know, you can, yeah. I mean, if you live in Manitoba, Alberta, Edmonton, whatever, of course, canned tuna is a great alternative to lighten up your day. Did you know that actually spaghetti bolognese is tuna dish?
No.
I don't know what it is. Spaghetti bolognese is registered in the Italian cuisine. I was texting, obviously I'm in the middle of something. I'll get to you after the segment. Anyway, let me tell you this. So spaghetti bolognese is actually a dish that is been eaten on Fridays. The tuna industry in Genova and the dry pasta industry in Naples and ended up creating that dish. Now, ragu alla bolognese, it's a sacrilegious to serve it with dry pasta, just so you know. It's a different dish. Ragu alla bolognese with egg noodles is a complete different dish. So if you just want to play a little trivia on somebody, go like, hey, but you know what spaghetti bolognese is? It's made with tuna, canned tuna, capers, fennel, and passata. And that's spaghetti bolognese. There's some useless information.
Where's Alex Trebek when you need him?
You got it.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like now we're on Jeopardy. So there's gonna be some field testing questions.
I was thinking of like food trivia.
Food trivia. Okay.
The other day, one of the customers did asked me so many spice mix, and I was quite surprised. Well, their cuisine is not the most. I said, grab some ground masala. That was just sort of a problem.
You're just a wealth of information, Dee.
I'm like a Google in the kitchen. I've been doing this for too long, and I have no source of life. I cook and read cookbooks all the time.
True. So the good thing about this dish is it comes together really quick, but it's really versatile. So if you don't have salmon, use cod. If you don't have cod, use shrimp and shellfish. Use clams. Like there's tons of things you can do to change this up a
It is
little bit.
highly adaptable. All you need to know is how long to cook things. And this is an, I'll show you the sauce. This is an blank canvas. Blank canvas. As soon as you make the space, whatever is the best shellfish, and that's how you need to shop for fish. Stop reading recipes and go look for ingredients.
Right.
You just go to the marketplace, you buy the best of the ingredients to your fancy or whatever you can afford, obviously.
Yeah.
You bring it home and then find a suitable recipe for exceptional produce you want. And that is how most of the world comes. Just go, buy mediocre green beans or green bean casseroles. Stick to that dish and buy some fennel and replace it with, you know what I mean?
Yeah, ask your fishmonger what's good today, and then buy that. They won't give you bad information, and you can, like I said, change the seafood up in this a little bit. Cioppino is really famous in San Francisco. They're really known for their cioppino. Have you been there?
No,
To
I
San Fran? No. So San Francisco, there's a bunch.
Yeah, I was there last week. Without a mask.
There's a bunch of really great restaurants in San Francisco, and they're really well known for their cioppino. And David and I have a great favorite spot we like to go called Mara. Mara, I think is the full name of the restaurant. Anyhow, their cioppino is killer. And it's just loaded. They've got mussels and clams all the time, but they've got sort of whatever's fresh and seasonal. And they're in Little Italy. So they're kind of like this really great little restaurant in the heart of North Beach where all the really good Italian restaurants are. And it's next door to this really wicked pizza restaurant. Anyhow, it's a great neighborhood. And the cioppino is just such a good way to eat. And they serve it family style there.
And it should be served in a large bowl.
Yeah.
And also, I know everybody owns some form of this too, but there are two schools in this. Other than the Far East, they have their tourism. But traditionally in the Western cuisine, creamy or tomatoey. If it's creamy, it's usually called a chowder. Most of them comes with potatoes. Tonight we're not doing potatoes, chioppino without potatoes. And then you have the tomato version. If it is saffron, you call it bouillabaisse. Saffron and cream, you call it bouillabaisse. If there is no cream in it, then it's called even one plant. Or even one chowder. It's Spanish. So I mean, there's a wide variety, but most of them taste exactly like this.
So the most important component in this recipe, after you purchase your seafood, of course, is the bread. And you're going to want a really good piece of sourdough bread, or a really good chunk of, like, really good crusty bread to soak up all the sauce.
Bread. Like, why good bread? It is so available everywhere these days. We had this chat about tomato spreading and this kind of toast. But we're switching from the toast culture. Well, I guess we're not switching yet, but it's on its way. To that really good quality, fresh. Because
and they just let it sit on the counter.
shaft and not fresh their baguette in the oven. At my house or wherever, you can just spritz a little bit of water onto the baguette or not even take that step, but put it back in the oven for like 5 minutes at 375 or 350.
All it takes is 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because wheat starch or wheat is thermoreversible, and meaning that stiff gel, like a dry bread, will turn into something just wonderful in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, so put it back in the oven, heat it up in the oven for about 5 minutes, just a whole loaf or partial loaf. Don't wrap it in anything, you don't want to create any steam, just fire it straight into the oven.
You want the outside and to be, because this crust is going to, man, we're talking today. This crust is going to hold on to most of the moisture for you. Okay? And this part is going to dry and create the crust, but you will have a nice moisture fluffiness in the bread. So, just like Angie said, just pop it in the oven for about 5 minutes and it's
Nice and crunchy.
nice and crunchy.
So, if you're cooking along tonight, we're running a little bit behind again. Sorry for the technical difficulties at the beginning. I think the recipes have probably been posted in the comments below. If they're not, I'll make sure that it's posted there. They'll also be available on our website, so you can find the recipes there on our website, wellseasoned.ca. And if you don't get our newsletter, you should sign up. Because in the newsletter every week we tell you about the upcoming cooking classes and we share some of the great recipes there. So you can sign up for our newsletter on the homepage of our website at the very bottom. Just enter your email address and we're good to go. So Chef's going to get busy with the Cioppino. If you have questions, go ahead and type them into the comment bar like usual. If there's something you want to know from Kitchen Google here, go ahead and ask it. I'm sure he'll be happy to answer
Hey,
it.
also the cheese. That's a great question.
So while you were cooking the Cioppino, I'm going to enjoy a glass of wine. So tonight we're drinking more from our friends at Lakeside Cellars. This is their Syrah. I thought it would be really nice with the tomato sauce, and it's not going to kill the seafood or anything.
This is a light Syrah, so it's not as full body, so it will just not.
Yeah, so this is good. I mean, typically this would be served, I think, with like Pinot Noir or maybe even a white wine, but I felt like it's kind of cold and rainy today, so I felt like a glass of red. So, anyhow.
Don't be too concerned, man. You can always match the food to your wine.
Yeah, you do you. If you like white, have white.
That's what one of the most of the wine producers say. I mean, obviously there are rules and regulations in their world, but whatever you like is just whatever it goes.
It's only good if it's good for you.
If you're enjoying the food, and if there's a decently cooked food, it'll taste good. Don't worry about it. I have never ever seen a pairing went bad. Did you know that?
I have.
Really?
Yeah, I have.
I have never seen somebody just sent back the wine saying that this doesn't happen.
Oh, no, not like that. But I've been to events where they pair the wine, and I've had really terrible pairings. And sometimes I've been to events where I've done the cooking, and the winemaker, the sommelier, has asked intentionally for a bad pairing because they want to show people the difference. Like they'll tell you the contrast and why it doesn't work. So it's been a bit of a learning curve in that as well. So I think it's only, like I said, it's only good if it's good for you. So anyhow,
Alright, let's get
here's a
cooking.
word.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alright. Let's get rid of this cork. Take one sip of wine.
Getting rid of the work, that's optimistic. I guess you're going to finish the bottle.
Is there sound setting on this?
Sound?
Yeah.
Just the volume bar?
Alright, let's just turn out the pot to oh man, she's saucy today. So, first things first, we have to cook our base. In this bowl, I have carrots, celery, onions. Maybe you can cut, I would say, quarter of fennel if you wish. That would work just fine. And then we're going to start some butter. Now, if you don't eat dairy, you can completely eat this no dairy and use olive oil. One of the things that people do most of the time with these bases that they do not put enough fat in the pan. Now, if you don't put enough fat, your vegetable is not going to fry, but it's going to just touch the stainless steel, which can get quite hot, way more than oil would get. And you're going to start really scorching your vegetables. So what we're looking at is beautifully colored and sorry, not colored, beautifully soft and deeply flavored vegetables, so it can disperse itself in the end products and get nice and all that. So a little bit of butter. Never hurts. Olive oil is just fine. Now let it nicely foam up a little bit. As you can see, my pot is like a little. I don't know what this. So we're just gonna get that melted. Yeah, let's put the bread to the side. Bread will be a later component. Tonight I will have a large oyster that I'm going to chop up and finish my stew with. Obviously, you have to talk about this. This is a Dungeness crab. This is a luxury that we get to enjoy as West Coast people. 365 a year, so that is we're lucky. We don't have to eat canned crab or anything. That's at your disposal the whole year long. I have some like mini-based scallops. These are very underrated. But I truly do love them because they are way more affordable than their large cousins. And you can use them in abundance. You can't sear them as well. But no shellfish or fish I've ever known needed at really high heat. My vegetables are in. I'm going to crank my heat to medium high so I can get going. You're more than welcome to use thyme, bay leaves, and whatnot. But I suggest keep the base very, very neutral. So you can always add the thyme in the finished product later on whenever you're making your stew. Just a little crushed garlic from my Martha Stewart tool. I think it's Martha Stewart.
With the garlic press?
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, it is so. I think. So, my garlic is in and it smells wonderful. Just wonderful. Okay? Now, put a nice big pinch of black pepper. This is for warmness, and we will finish with black pepper also. So that so we have the actual aroma of it at the end as well. Alright. My base is looking good. What we're looking at is soft vegetable that starts to look translucent. Please take your time to cook your vegetables properly in the beginning. Please do. If you don't, you will have bitey onions. You will have bland vegetables that would stop your bite whenever you're eating your stew. Now, while this is happening, Cioppino is served with regular bread, but we're just going to put a little French number here. I'm going to take my baguette, cut it on bias. If you're biased, or you can just do regular slices. Bias gives you a little bit more square footage, so you can put more mayo and parmesan on it, which is fantastic, actually.
Chef, Julie's asking if she has a fish or shellfish allergy. Can you use the same sauce base other than seafood?
Yes, you can. I mean, obviously, it's tomato sauce. So, tomato sauce can be turned into literally anything. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, then it's not a Chioppino, obviously.
It's not a Cioppino. It is some form of quickly sautéed meat and tomato sauce. Of course. I mean, this is a great sauce. But my base sauce will also have fish stock. So you can use maybe a traditional style.
I mean, just make something else. Just make something
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to have that. And if it's not good for you, just let it go. I mean, there is no reason to There's no sound? Is that what you said?
Yeah, you have sound, Chef. I don't.
Okay. All right. Great. Yeah. I like that.
You're the important one.
I like that. Oh man, I feel really good now. I can talk.
So much power.
I know. I enjoy that. How bad are tuna melts? Huh?
No.
They can't hear you, Angie. How horrible. Cheese and fish? What are you, 6? You need melted cheese to eat fish. And let's talk about tilapia for a second.
You're fired.
Oh yeah, great. Great.
Okay, we had this argument the other day.
It honors me to get fired. I get to go home. I just got to get home.
Okay, I want to know about you. Tuna melt or no tuna melt? In the comments, because Chef is a tuna melt hater.
I am a hater of tuna melts.
I'm a lover.
Oh, you people eat like children. All right, now I would like to show you my vegetables, how soft and wonderful they're getting. They're like a little drippy droppy, but I am taking my time to cook it. I just got to do a bunch of talking, which I do for a living. Now let's talk about our toast rouille. Rouille is a French addition to the bouillabaisse. It's literally like a little garlic mayo spread on baguette, and I'll show you how. It's very easy. It's mayonnaise, it's parmesan. I use parmesan, but you can use some other cheese just to give it a little bit of seasoning to it. And then I'm going to add 2 garlic cloves that's been crushed into this. And I'm going to mix it. Now right here, I have my saffron water, which is going to go into my stew as well. You take a gram of saffron or half a gram, I don't know, whatever the recipe in the batch size you're making. Okay. And then you pour hot water on your saffron. Now you would have your saffron tea, which is a great thing to use. Now I'm going to add a little bit of my saffron water here. So I have a slightly yellow roux. Maybe a few threads in there as well. Oh man, we haven't talked about the yam puree splash around 4:30.
I wasn't gonna mention that.
Yeah, I grabbed the yams and I turned the mixer on and it was on number 3.
I think people, if they look closely at your chef shirt, at your.
Oh man!
shirt,
Oh my God! Yeah,
there is.
Why did you say
everywhere.
somebody? I had to take a shower in the sink. Okay. Obviously, this spoon is huge for this bowl and it's making a mess. Let's get rid of that. Now, my vegetables are ready right now, and I'll show you how beautiful they are. Steamy, soft, and awesome. So, come on now. To this, I am going to add some white wine. Now, this is a quick stew. So this is the time that you just use good quality wine for cooking. We know the rules and regulations. Cooking wine is not acceptable, but also don't take a $30 bottle of wine and turn it, use it for a braise, because it's going to change at the end. So if you're finishing your sauce with a little splash of wine, or if you're just doing a quick sauce like this, use an exceptional quality, not exceptional, I mean nothing more than $15 a bottle is what I'm saying.
But the cooking wine you buy at the grocery store is full of salt and preservatives, and it's not going to add.
If you're braising, in the long run, you might get away with it, but you can buy these box wines that offers great value for, let's say, if you're making a dub de boeuf or like a beef stew of some sort, then you can use that wine. But don't take a $30 bottle of Bordeaux and then just like chug it into your beef braise and expect that you're going to be able to tell that there's some good wine in this sauce. That doesn't happen that way. My wine is boiling while this is doing its work. I am going to do my mayonnaise, maybe add a pinch of salt, pinch of pepper. Pepper. And I also forgot to pull out my coriander seeds that is on the recipe. Because I guess I was dishwashing at the end very hard. And I'm going to grab a little coriander seeds, and I'm going to open them up as I drop them in. This will do, and you're more than welcome to use the fresh coriander. See my spice cabinet? Do you have one at home? I bet you don't. Excuse me. That's what you get. That's called karma for being like that. Anyway, so my saffron water goes in. That's gonna give that nice hue. Little squeeze of tomato paste. Taste your tomato paste. If you're using a cheap variety, obviously we can afford things around here.
Nothing but the best for you, Chef.
I'm not paying the bill, just so you know. But I like good stuff for sure. Anyway, if you're using a good quality tomato paste, you don't need to fry it in oil. But if you got some sketchy stuff from Superstore, I suggest fry it in olive oil to just get rid of. Not that I have anything against Superstore.
And if you're not buying your tomato paste in a tube, you're not living. Tomato paste in a tube is the most convenient thing ever.
It is actually. It's better than opening up a can and trying to preserve it. Now, to this, I'm going to grab my slices of bread. They're soft and wondersome. And I'm going to put some of my garlic mayonnaise. Okay. Yes. Have you ever made grilled cheese using mayo?
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah.
You can use it on your tuna melt.
No, to fry things as fat. I don't eat tuna melts.
I've used it on chicken.
Yeah, it's excellent. Mayonnaise is actually a fascinating condiment. Oh man. Let's get rid of that. This mayonnaise doesn't like me tonight.
Shelly wants to know how long a tube of tomato paste lasts once it's been opened.
That long. Just check it out. I don't know.
There's going to be a date on it.
There's gonna be an expiry date on it, but tomato paste actually lasts really long. Now in Turkey, where I'm from originally, during summertime we use fresh tomatoes. During wintertime we use canned tomatoes. So we use tomato paste to flavor things. So when we open up a can, so that means that we eat a lot of tomatoey stuff, and when we open up a can and leave it in the fridge in a container, if there is an air gap, you might have some white mold on it, which is fine. You can just scrape it off and use it. Anything other than white, I wouldn't go there. But just tube tomato paste lasts way longer because their contact with oxygen is literally at the end of the tube, which is usually covered and protected. So I'm just read your product. There should be an expiry date on it, but they're highly usable. Now, my tomato paste and my white wine. As you can see, how delicious that looks, and it smells great too. So this is going. My next thing to put in there is clam nectar. Now, clam nectar is one of the great conveniences ever. A lot of people, rely on fish stock. Anyway, I'm going to put my clam nectar in here and start boiling it. Fish stock is an awkward one because we do not usually buy whole halibut at home or have fish bones like a big fish carcass unless you're, just catching it. So you can easily substitute clam nectar that's on most of the shelves on the grocery stores and get away with not having fish stock in your pantry. So, and whenever you're cooking a fish dish, it is a great addition. Now to this, I'm gonna add my cherry tomatoes. I'm gonna add my passata, which is preserved canned tomatoes. Italian variety is better. If you can't afford the Italian variety, just grab the Californian variety. They do a kick-ass job on those and whatnot. Now I'm just gonna put my sauce to the side for it to simmer and be somebody. And this is my pan. Now, you would like to keep your sauce without any fish, the base. And every time you would make this, you should cook your own fish. And I'll show you how fast this could be put together. Any questions yet?
No, but Stacy says that you can save the prawn shells and make like a shrimp stock with the prawn shells and stuff. And then
Shrimp or shellfish stock tastes way different than a fish stock, though. Because usually, if you do not roast your shellfish
shells.
peelings or shells, oh, that's a good one, shellfish shells, if you just boil them in water, you're not going to grab any flavor, or you'll have barely flavor. So you have to roast them in a medium-low oven to just like amplify their flavor, and then extract it, just like you would do with a porcini mushroom or a morel mushroom. In their fresh state, their flavors is kind of diluted. But once they're, what do you say, dried, they amplify. That's a great accent. And, but it tastes completely different. So it's a different accent than a fish stock. But yeah, absolutely, you can do that. Now, here what I have is steelhead trout, which you still can get fresh. Please don't do that to your fish. Now, for my stew, I do not like minced stuff. This is where I'm from. It's sacrilegious. If you serve them an olive paste, they would ask, what was wrong with the olive? Why am I eating the paste form of this? So with the fish, I like big chunks. So this is kind of like a 4-ounce or a 5-ounce fillet. I am just going to cut it right in half. So I have something nice and chunky. So that's my steelhead trout. This is my lingcod. You know what? Let's keep a big chunk of it as well. This is a 5-ouncer, 2.5, 2.5. My Argentinian prawns. My base scallops. With these, you will see a little muscle, abductor muscle on the side. With the large scallops, I pull it off, but with these, I don't bother. This is half a steamed crab. This was frozen, and it freezes exceptionally well, so you can buy it off your fishmonger. But at the same time, if you go to TNT or any Asian supermarket, you are going to get, you can get a fresh crab. Make sure that wherever buying your live fish or live shellfish has tons of traffic. You don't want that awkward fish shop that has 2 crab for the last month in their tank. The poor animals are suffering. So you don't want that. Now this, we have to be considerate of our guests, right? Whenever you serve food. So I am just going to cut them into little crab chops, if you will. Just like this. And if you're nice enough, just like Angie, not like me, you might want to grab and cut little incisions into your shell so your guests can open it with ease rather than struggling it. And if you're in a restaurant, I would pick the crab and then whisk it into the stew rather than serving it whole, because you really don't want to, I mean, you can, I do, get messy with your crab on your date or on your special occasion or on your $300 custom shirt with your initials on it. Okay, so get, where are you going? Just like this.
Wearing that shirt today, Chef.
Tough crowd, tough crowd. Anyway, I'll be, yeah. Please, you're just turning me on. I'll just get more expensive. Hey, I ordered a bunch of sea urchins. What?
Uni for everyone.
Okay, just like a little cracks. This, I'm not gonna bother. Or serve some crab crackers. You know what's the best crab cracker?
What? Your teeth.
Yeah, unless you have really weak teeth. Now my base looks really, really lovely. I'm gonna taste it. Oh my God. Pinch of salt. It's flat. And then I am going to turn this off. Now, my crab is portioned, my scallops and my prawns, and I'm going to finish with the crab is cooked, and the oyster and the crab are going to go at the very, very end. The thickest one here is my trout. Oh, just a little pinch. We're going to saute these rather than like one by one sear it. And now with fish, people have their own opinion. But this is my kitchen, so yours is worthless here. I am going to use very gentle heat to cook my fish. No fish needs to be crusted on both sides. And no fish, especially wild lean fish, needs to be highly colored, because you're just literally destroying a layer of fish. So don't do that, please, if you can help it. And if you just bring on the texture argument, just like I said, I don't care. So, my pan is on medium heat. I'm going to turn it to medium high, and I'm going to drop a nice knob of butter. Maybe this end of the butter into this side. So I have a nice glossy sauce. Now, as you can see, I am just at this temperature, okay? My trout is the thickest, it goes in first. Lower your fish away from yourself into hot fat, and then grab the handle and shake the pan. Make sure that the fat goes under also, so you're not getting stuck. Now, my prawns is going to take the longest to cook on the second one, so I'm dropping my prawns on. And I'm going to let this ride about 30 seconds, so I'm absorbing some warmness into the fish. Okay? That's quite a size of a oyster there.
It is. I don't think I'd be eating that thing raw, but David would.
Really?
I like the old oysters where David comes from. They have the big oysters.
I like smaller oysters. With these, I like to cook them.
I prefer smaller, but I won't pass on any.
And then there is the ones that looks like a baby shoe. Those I don't. I'm not.
It's like a tongue in there.
Yeah. I'm like, why is this in my mouth and why am I eating this? And now, my cod goes in. My shrimp is 60% cooked. I'm going to flip it. Okay. I'm going to flip. Again, I will show this to you. This is the color that I'm looking for on my fish. A rosy hue. Nothing aggressive, okay? It's still super succulent and it's dripping there, as you can see. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get my scallops in. A little bit of there, a little bit of there, a little bit of there, a little bit of there. Okay, everything is just wonderfully tender and lovely. I don't know if you can hear my pan, but she's gently weeping, okay? So, I'm gonna flip my cod. Again, lightly fried, very, very lightly fried. Then I am going to add my crab, the claw first. Take 10 seconds. This leg, crab, this leg, and it's still raw. My fish is still very, very raw. Okay, let's get rid of this. And also we might as well get rid of this board because it's fishy. Fishy fish in a good way. Okay. Just wipe this off, put it to the side. No, don't toss your pan because you're not cooking potatoes, obviously, right? I'm gonna bring my Cioppino up to boil. Boily, boily. And then at the same time, my toast Rouille is going to under the broiler to the far side. Just want to get some warmth in there, okay? Now, this is simmering now. Let's get rid of this. And then I'm going to add this, the Cioppino. To this. I mean, how lovely that looks, right? It's just like a pan of sunshine, really. Now let's turn this off. And once it comes to a boil like that, I'm gonna crank it and bring it up to a full boil. Let's get rid of this tooth as well. No questions, eh? What a lovely crowd we have.
I know, it's very quiet tonight.
I know. I almost feel like I know what I'm doing. Pretty self-explanatory. And then once it comes up to a boil, I'm going to turn this off and just let it be.
Now you look like you know what you're doing. You didn't earlier with those sweet potatoes, but...
I told you your opinions are worthless to me. Just so you know. Yeah, but wonderful. Yeah. High five.
Billy says this is a good meal for Valentine's, this Chioppino. It'd be good any day.
Yeah.
Really.
You don't want to eat, a huge meal on a Valentine's. Now, with my oyster, I'm going to grab my spoon. I shocked it earlier. I'm going to pop this to be poached at the very, very end. With its liquor also goes in there. Now, while all that wonderful scene is happening, and this is gently poaching, let's go check on our bread. Now, keep an eye on your bread. This goes sideways very, very fast. You do not want to, like I'm doing right now, peel your eyes off it. And it's the worst job in the restaurant, in the restaurant service too, just to be under the broiler, because you got a million other things to do, and you're really under the broiler. Also, do not forget to leave comments about what should we be cooking next week. That if you have any requests, within reason that is, that would be lovely. We are under the salamander or broiler. What do you call this? What do you call this?
Well, in an oven, it's a broiler, but the standalone salamanders are just the broiling element.
So complicated. So complicated. Now, just like any other good cook, we need to taste this broth to make sure that it's up to our standards. Since we're working with the best, we have to serve the best version of ourselves, of your dish. Now, it is flat. I'm going to grab lime, lemon, some form of fresh citrus.
So you didn't add anything spicy to this. There's no chilies, there's no...
No, there was serrano. Sorry, I forgot to mention in the mirror.
Was serrano?
Yeah, but you don't have to. Again, when you're eating fish, you can be a little lighthearted. You don't need aggressive seasoning. Oh, that's a nice juicy lime too. Amazing. I love a good fruit like that. Now, what we did was take the steaming hot broth, pour over it of like a 60% cooked fish, right? And then we just literally just gently warm the fish up. I think the salamander turned off because I keep the door open. Now, I'm going to bring this up to boil one more time. Okay. And we should grab a couple of bowls for our guests. Always think about your guests, please. But as you can see, it took me about, 30 minutes to actually make the sauce. If you have the sauce ready, it takes about 5 minutes. Literally, once it comes up to a boil, turn it off. My toast Rouille is still in the works. Now let's plate this baby boy. Now first I'm going to start with my crab legs because they can lay the foundation. because they're ginormous and ginormous being in size, so that they can hold the structure up for the rest of the fish. Okay. Smells incredible. Okay, so those are my crab legs.
So, Chef, if you were adding some other, like mussels or clams into this, when would you add those?
I would add everything with steelhead trout. If you had, you know, that part of the segment, I would add it with the steelhead trout. Clams takes a slightly longer than to cook, but again, if you're doing this in a matter of minutes, do not be so obsessed with your doneness, because as long as you keep an eye on it, it will taste super nice and succulent any given time. Like 10 Fahrenheit difference is not really a big deal when you're cooking at home, is what I'm trying to say. Just relax and do a good job. Unless you're charging somebody $40 for this plate, then yeah, you have to nail it. So give a squeeze to your fish to the side. And I would, let me show you the doneness of the fish. I don't know if you can see it, but it is flaky. The layers is melted. It is moist and succulent, and it's slightly pink. Now, if you're pink and if you're not flaking, that fish is raw. And this fish is very good. Very, very good.
Chef Shelley suggested maybe next week we make some Turkish food.
Ooh, I like it. Sure. There. Put it in the comment section. And then, let's not burn our bread. Ooh, look at that. Celian is working nice tonight. Again, it's nice, it's bubbly, it's cheesy, it's just beautiful. Now, this is this. To this, I would like to add some chopped green onions and parsley to the base, right? We talked about this, you know me by now, meaning we always like to finish with fresh ingredients and fresh vegetables, which is quite important. Again, I'd like to taste the base. Oh man, that's quite good. And then I'm going to pour over. Here, let's just give this to you. Got it? And then the sauce goes over. This could easily feed up to 4 people with no problem at all. Or David. Not to mention, you will have extra sauce for later. Now to this, I'm gonna grab some fennel I had in the fridge. These are shaved, and I'm just gonna leave them raw. It's a nice little crunch when you're eating this. Just to tap out from the rich seasoning of the saffron and the tomatoes and the butter and all the shellfish. And then I chopped my celery in there, right? Here are my leaves at the heart, which usually cooks used to throw out. These are celery leaves. I think that's what Jesus said. Give me a celery stalk and I'll give you garnish for 1,000 plates. Or something like that. I don't think he said that.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Jesus would have made a great cook. But he chose the woodwork. And then, well, not least, at whatever, you know what I'm talking about. A little bit of extra fresh citrus. Let's grab our little plate. And this is our toast Rouille. Okay. Maybe they should chase each other on the plate.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta play a little bit, right?
So festive.
All right, of course. And then it doesn't need herbs and whatnot, but you know. And then here is our little West Coast Cioppino with all of our beautiful shellfish and a little bit of garlic toast, if you will, fancy garlic toast. All right, Angie, ready for this?
I am ready for this. I'm excited.
You should be.
I am. I'm very excited. I love this. So the reason we ended up with this dish is a lot of people were asking for soups and stews.
That's
Soups
the oyster.
And stews are hard. Excuse me. Soups and stews are hard to cook in 45 minutes.
To do a justice to it,
to do it properly.
Yeah.
So I thought this would be a good way to sort of do a quick soup / stew, and be able to have a conversation about a quick soup like this, and still get something. Sorry, I'm choking. Still get something really
Do you need a
delicious and
minute?
fresh on the table, right?
Grab some fish too, just for the doneness like that. Yeah. Grab the whole piece.
Sorry, this is a salmon or steelhead.
That's a steelhead trout.
Look how perfect that is.
It's just flaking. So what you're looking for is to melt the collagen in between those flakes, ever gently, so that it keeps all of its moisture and its softness. So if you hard sear this thing, especially on both sides, you'll have a piece of plastic. But this just melts on your palate.
So soft. Yeah.
Just melts on your palate, and that's the way to cook fish rather than being concerned about, just like those presentations. We're confident cooks. We know what we're doing. So we don't need a whole lot of garnish or aggressive stuff or like textural back and forth and this and that. You do simple things right, I promise you'll have the best food and the best life ever.
Best life ever.
Best life ever, like best food ever. Like you fry an egg perfectly. You don't have to do anything else other than just adding a nice slice of bread to it. The more garnish you have, it means that less confidence it tells us professional cooks.
What was I garnishing the other day and you told me not to? Do you remember?
I can't.
I don't
no.
remember.
I'm against garnish. I'm
Oh.
against garnish.
I was garnishing something. He didn't like it. Anyhow. Yeah. I can't remember what it was. Anyhow.
Listen, you don't need a wig.
A wig?
Yeah, you
No.
don't. You just don't. You just by default, you just don't.
So the results are in from the tuna melt debate. And I think it
Who
was a tie.
cares? Your opinion is worthless. I said that before. I don't care, man. It's gross.
You had some people on your side. To the
Ooh, okay.
on
Let
the-
me hear about that.
I'm not anti
I like it.
tuna melt side.
Good. Some people would taste.
Yeah. I had some people on my side too.
Ooh, bad,
So-
bad.
I'm gonna make him a tuna melt one day, and I'm gonna use a craft single. It'll be epic. That's what I grew up eating. Anyhow,
We're gonna fix that. Childhood traumas you can get rid of those things.
it reminds me of my mom. I love it. Sometimes you just need to have something like that, you know?
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
I still go for a Big Mac and eat that dreadful American cheese on there because it comes with it. But it's again, I'm not after American cheese. I'm after that nostalgic taste
Mhm.
and what it is.
Yeah.
And I have sympathy for that and I have respect for that. I'm just mocking. But in general, where I'm from, fish and cheese, when you put it on the table, you get kicked out of the kitchen and you're never allowed. Once I was just trying to cook fish, and this is after like 10 years into my career, that, I've achieved a few little things. That's not very important. But I went back to a fishing village of my father's. They gave me a kilogram of red mullet, barbunya, which was in season. And I said, it wasn't on. They didn't give me. I said, can I cook it? My cousin was going to cook it. He goes like, nah, you're going to mess it up. What is that supposed to mean? I'm a cook. He goes like, yeah, you don't know how to cook fish probably. All right. But somehow they trusted in me. And I actually cooked this recipe with fresh tomatoes. And we just took the whole thing to the pier, sat right in front of the water, opened up a bottle of Ricard, and we sang the night away, which was a great night. I still remember it to this day. And that day I was made in the family to be allowed to cook in the kitchen. Until then, though, they're like, nah, no, we don't want your flavors now. Just go home. We like stuff. Like you put teriyaki sauce on halibut, you're out. You're banned. Like, and they're gonna talk for the next 4 days. Anyway, sorry about all the dumb stories. I'm trying to fill in some time.
Oh, we're out of time, Chef. We're over time.
Yeah, but we just started like 10 minutes late.
Right.
I just want to give your time.
money's worth?
You're not paying for this, so your time's worth. Anyway,
So next week,
so
right
tuna
here,
melt
Thursday
situation
at
was
5:30,
in.
we're gonna do tuna melt. No, next Thursday we're gonna do Turkish food. So I'm excited to see what this is going to look like.
Okay.
So stand by for the menu. I'll post it as soon as Chef gets it to me. Is it good, Toast? So hopefully you'll join us right here next Thursday at 5:30 for the Turkish Palooza with Dr. Kitchen Google here. So anyhow, tomorrow's meal of the week, if you haven't,
Could you hold this for a second?
okay, yeah.
I can sort of eat and drink lunch.
If you haven't ordered, our gourmet to go meal is meatloaf made with venison and bacon, and it's
It
delicious.
took me all day. We got the venison in. Unfortunately, sorry. I shouldn't talk.
He was grinding his own meat. It was very fancy, and the meatloaf is delicious. And it's so I think there's 3 orders left. So if you pop on our website, you can still get dinner to go this weekend. And Melissa, our pastry chef, is making Grand Marnier trifle, so that should be delicious too.
For $42 on a Friday night,
For dinner for 2, it's a good deal.
not to go out and stay at home and eat very good food. I think you should get on that train.
Yeah, jump on the train. Anyhow, thanks for joining us tonight. Again, sorry for the challenges at the beginning, but hopefully it was worth it. Thanks for hanging in there, and we'll see you right here next Thursday, 5:30.